A very good afternoon to everyone who's joining us today for this virtual event. I'm Ashwin Fernandez, and I'm pleased to be doing this opening address for the virtual event today. We have to launch our QS IGAUGE edit report, as well as to have a great panel discussion with international experts. So whoever is joining us today on various of our platforms, right on Zoom currently and on YouTube, it's great to have you. And I'm so pleased that we are able to organize this event in this unprecedented times where we cannot get together personally. We have a few hundreds joining us on YouTube. And my request to those on YouTube is that when you are watching this today, please click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon, because you can be notified of such events happening in the future automatically from your YouTube account. So I would not like to delay this further. We are very, very excited today to launch this report, which is a study done of institutions, how they have traveled through the last few months, and what systems they have put in place for information technology to enable education delivery to students, even though the classrooms were closed, and taking the classroom to the student. So we looked at institutions after evaluating and certifying them as part of the QS E-Lead certification. E-Lead stands for e-learning excellence for academic digitization, which we released in early April to provide institutions with some kind of a measurement to see how they are performing against globally set benchmarks to enable e-learning. Some institutions in India were ready for this much before. Some institutions immediately took steps and were able to transform from a brick and mortar classroom to an online e-learning classroom using various platforms. And this report today will showcase what institutions did, what were the best practices followed by these rather, I think, small group of institutions who we certified, and the number is growing as we speak. And then telling and providing you with some kind of an analysis of what is the best and what are the learnings for institutions. Now, this is not just for the institutions which are certified, but for the hundreds and thousands of colleges and the hundreds of universities in India, which are yet to go online or perhaps are using various other platforms. We are going to look at what platforms we used, how did it work for them, and also come in with a global view from experts from Australia and from Kuwait, from some two top universities, and seeing and asking, and we'll open the questions for you all as well to ask questions on what you think they have done and to get their opinion as well. And we will follow this up with an award ceremony for 7 institutions today, which have completed the E-Lead certification. So to first launch the report, I would like to call upon our Director of Operations, Ms. Chitra Srinivas, who will give you a presentation and some snippets on the report we have and the findings we have. And the report will be available on our website shortly after, and it will be emailed to everyone who has registered to attend today. And you can, of course, download it off our social media as well. So my gratitude to everyone who's here today. And over to you, Chitra, for your presentation, please.
Thank you, Ashwin. I just share my desktop. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our virtual event this evening. It's my privilege to present some highlights of our latest study report, which is called EDIT, Education Delivery Through Information Technology. This report presents a detailed study on the adoption of technology and technology interventions by institutions to continue education delivery online amidst a global pandemic that posed huge challenges of different kinds and acted as a catalyst to bring complete shift in how education is improved. Is to analyze data consistently by institutions that strive for quality and excellence. On behalf of the authors, Professor Paddy and Ashwin, I take this opportunity to share some notes on this report. Before I move on to this presentation, I would like to quickly mention that eLead methodology focuses on 4 key indicators, namely student faculty engagement, LMS, learning management system, IT support, and best practices in IT. A rigorous evaluation is done by the analyst team to check the readiness on each parameter. To get eLead certified, an institution needs to score 120 out of 150 points. With this introduction, I will now move to my presentation on the report. In May 2020, QS IGAUGE launched a new certification program called eLead, E-Learning Excellence for Academic Digitization, to quickly respond to the changing needs in higher education ecosystem. The aim of the certification program is to assist and enable institutions to shift from a face-to-face mode to online delivery. Over 50 institutions have participated and earned the eLead certification, and we have 7 institutions this evening who will receive their award in today's event. After assessing and certifying online readiness of some of the best institutions, we considered the idea of presenting some interesting facts and observations through this report. This report not only recognizes the early adopters of technology for education delivery, but also provides good data points to inspire other institutions to do a self-assessment. We moved to an online age many years back. Most of the services assumed the form of e-commerce, allowing greater flexibility in day-to-day life. However, little did we imagine that the conventional phase of learning method and student-teacher engagement would completely assume a virtual form. Today, as we speak, we are all virtually connected with the help of technology and can continue our engagements with no disruption. I would like to present the first fact highlighted in the report here. Out of the total score of 150 points, 145.05% was secured by institutions that have non-residential campuses. The average score for residential campuses is 144.25%. We wanted to know if there was any notable trend in technology adoption between residential and non-residential campuses due to varying infrastructure needs, but we observed a very close range in both types of institutions. It was interesting to note the different platforms used by institutions for student-faculty engagement. As per the data, Zoom emerged as the most preferred platform for ease of use and for allowing 40 minutes of meeting time, even in a free plan. The report has some interesting facts about Zoom and throws light on their commitment to India amidst the security vulnerabilities about the application that made rounds in the media. We also observed that Google Meet and Microsoft Teams emerged as the next best options. In the recent past, Microsoft has enhanced the features of Teams, and it is notable to mention that some of the institutions are using advanced features of Teams to schedule classes, share videos, record sessions and presentations, and even to run polls. We also noticed a good integration of Teams and Google Meet with other LMS and Google Classroom. This is one of the most important aspects of online delivery, which is the learning management system. It was interesting to note that about 91% of institutions had their custom-built LMS. This really demonstrates the technical ability of the internal IT teams to design and implement a comprehensive LMS. In some institutions, students were also engaged in design and implementation. The custom-built application offers greater flexibility to design specific features, and it allows further enhancement as and when required. The eLead audit evaluates the LMS on important aspects such as course scheduling, delivery, assessment, grading, feedback, and reporting. In some of the customized implementations, we observed additional features such as examination module. One of the institutions had integrated their ERP system with the LMS, which really made it an all-in-one system, offering a seamless experience to students. As far as pre-built or ready applications are concerned, Moodle emerged as one of the top choices in creating a robust, secure, and integrated system to create personalized learning environment. Although Moodle is open source, some institutions had done additional customization on Moodle to suit their needs. It was interesting to note that some of the institutions have integrated access to SWAYAM and NPTEL through their LMS. This is helpful for students or learners to track their courses besides having access to a large resource pool for learning. Some key highlights on data recovery and data protection. So this is another key area that checks if the institution has a good data recovery mechanism for regular backup and restore. We expected to see a good number here, as it is very critical to have a data recovery plan and implementation of the same in case of a disruption. About 81.82% of institutions had implemented network attached storage. NAS, as it is called, is a system storage device connected to a network that allows storage and retrieval of data from a centralized location. NAS offers flexibility in allowing additional storage space as the need may be. It's like having a known cloud storage system in the institution. Few other institutions had opted for external cloud storage, such as Amazon Web Service, that offers strong protection and greater reliability. It's a good practice to ensure implementation of disaster recovery plan that allows business continuity in the event of a disruption. I'm sure the authors will agree with me if I say that we expected 100% implementation of a policy on non-usage of pirated software. The policy implementation percentage stood at 90.91%, which leaves room for another 9.09% that did not have any policy on this. Globally, software vendors have strict anti-piracy laws to protect misuse of software. It's not only an ethical, but also a legal issue that warrants legal action. The report throws more light on this to encourage all institutions to adopt no tolerance policy towards the usage of pirated software. Of the 90.91% institutions that have already enforced a policy, some institutions implemented a comprehensive policy and explicitly highlighted zero tolerance and action against such incidents. This is remarkable. Another key area is how secure or private the data of the institution is. It is even more important as institutions deal with a huge chunk of student data with personal information. Data privacy is practiced thoroughly globally. With GDPR in force for the last 2 years, it calls for greater attention to protect user data, especially when the institution is engaged in international collaborations. The report has interesting facts related to GDPR and highlights some of the best practices of institutions globally. As per our study report, a small percentage of 4.55 that do not have a policy related to this, which means that 95.45% have already enforced it. Technology has its own vulnerabilities and threats that needs greater attention to keep it secure. The information technology or the IT team is the backbone of the technology landscape. In the elite certification process, we evaluated the systems and processes adopted by the IT team. Over 90% of the institutions had a comprehensive IT policy that clearly stated the level of support offered by the IT team to students, faculties, and support teams. Some institutions had taken the extra measure of having an inbuilt help desk portal which students or faculties could use to log a ticket. This not only made the process simple and easy, but also enabled smooth tracking of the inquiry status. We also noticed that some of the institutions had entered multi-year maintenance contracts with external IT vendors, thereby outsourcing the IT requirements to them. Whether it is in-house managed or externally supported, a robust IT help desk and team is essential to ensure that the technology infrastructure is well supported to meet the demands. Just to summarize, online readiness involves implementing or adopting technology-enabled systems and user-friendly applications that should be further strengthened with policy guidelines, best practices, and most importantly, the IT ecosystem that ensures seamless delivery. The data and best practices shared here and elaborated further in the report have been adopted by some of the best institutions in India. While they're mostly private, we also have some public institutions that are part of this group study. We still have a large number of institutions that are yet to test their readiness. As the saying goes, what gets measured gets better. We hope the report inspires other institutions further. The report is live on our social media and website. I request you all to get a copy and share your comments with us. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, Chitra, for this presentation and this report. We will share it as a link currently to all of you who are watching, but it will be available on our website for download shortly. So with this, everyone, I would like to welcome the panelists for today's discussion, because that's what we've heard what's happening in India on the information technology side for Indian universities when they're delivering courses. But what about abroad? So I have two esteemed panelists with me today who are joining us for this discussion. And if you have any questions for them, please use the chat box, which is available in the YouTube function, as well as if you're on Zoom with us today, you can also use the function there as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to first welcome Dr. Marcus Craig Rodrigues, who's the Faculty Director for Online Education at the University of Newcastle in Australia. So welcome, Dr. Marcus, just for your information, because we love rankings and ratings so much. University of Newcastle is one of the top 200 universities in the world, as in the QS World University ranking. So something they have adopted would really be beneficial for all of us to learn here today. So welcome, Dr. Marcus. And I have our next panelist, Dr. Jean Lakes, who's joining us from Kuwait. Dr. Jean Lakes is the head of learning management and quality assurance at the American University of the Middle East in Kuwait. So thank you so much, Jean, one of the top universities in Kuwait as well, and in the Middle East. I've been to the campus, amazing facilities, robotic labs, and so on. So I haven't been to Australia, but I know the rankings do speak for you. So I would like to welcome you both. And if you'd like to take a minute to just quickly tell us about yourselves and about what you do, and then we'll get into the Q&A, or if you have an observation to make on the report, I would like to start with Dr. Marcus first.
Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you for having us. I read your report, EDIT, and I must congratulate you. It's a fantastic report, giving us also from out of India a bird's eye view of what is happening in India. Because at the University of Newcastle, where I work, we have students from all over the world, including India. And I do have students even now sitting in India for attending courses in Australia. So this report tells me exactly what is happening at other institutions in India, and I'm very pleased to read it. Thank you for having me once again. And I would love to share what we are doing in Australia. I've been working at the University of Newcastle for 13 years now. And we started off with blended learning, and now thanks to COVID, everyone has moved online, and that's what I've been leading at the University of Newcastle. Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Jean, please.
Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you, everybody, for this invitation. And of course, I've seen this a very nice report with indeed the main elements for evaluating a successful implementation of an e-learning platform. Good information there, and giving us a good idea of what's happening there. And it's always good to see such interesting level of engagement and of application of these LMS tools and these tools for the to overcome these hard days actually due to COVID. Now I'm Jane Lakis. I'm with AUM since 2014, 6 years now. I'm in the learning management and quality assurance. So we have a very, very important role to play here in this experience that everybody is living currently. So I'm happy to be here with you today, and will be, of course, happy to answer any question and share our experience with your audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I would like to pose the first question, Dr. Marcus. I mean, when March came, there was definitely a concern with COVID, and we've seen how institutions had to close off their classrooms, the brick and mortar classrooms, and move towards online. And you did say that you had a blended model first. So how easy or how difficult was it for you, even when having students in India attending classes? What did you all do? And what was the most important learning from that? Perhaps you could share in a few minutes for us, please.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwin. As I said, we had started moving into different modes of teaching and learning delivery, and we use a good LMS system, which is Blackboard. The Faculty of Business and Law in which I work, we went into blended learning because we did not want to bring students all the time into a classroom because of want of space. with the building which I now sit in, the largest classroom we can have is like 117 students compared to the previous campus where I could have 600 students in one classroom. So that was the constraint for us when we went into blended learning. And with blended learning, we do a lot of work online before the students come to the classroom. So we had a little of an edge over the other competitors in the industry in Australia because we were sort of pioneers in starting this blended learning mode. One of my models, which is called CR3, I'm happy to share with you all and help anyone who wants to implement it. It has now been implemented in other universities in Australia. So that was our edge. So we were almost ready when COVID happened. The only issues that we faced was to sort of motivate our students to get into that online mode and to be engaged as they were within the classroom. Second challenge that we had was moving our academics. Some of our academics are fantastic people, but technology sometimes is difficult. So we moved into ways of training them and helping them with simple, easy to use techniques. So that would be my first starting suggestion to anyone who's thinking in terms of good learning platforms, is to have a little model, a model that works across the faculties, across the disciplines, that could be easily adapted. Having said that, key things that we kept in mind when COVID happened was, how do we keep the students engaged? How do we have triggers in every session that will motivate the student to get himself to be disciplined to come to every online class?
Okay, and could you share with us about the CR3 model and what is that in a brief? So everybody's curious.
Right. It's a very funny term which I sort of coined, and it's trademarked to us now. CR3 stands for concepts. So when students came into the lecture theatre, we taught them concepts, and sometimes they were physically present and mentally absent. So all the concepts in the blended learning model are now converted into short little videos. Right? So for example, topic 1, I have say 5 learning objectives. So for each learning objective, I have one little video. And the video will not be more than 10 to 15 minutes because the attention span of the student is not more than that. So the first way, what we do is the concepts by videos, the student watches it at home. So he watches the first video, and before he gets access to the second video, we have a little online test for him or her that gives them immediate instantaneous feedback as to whether they've understood that first video. So once they pass that test, they get access to the second video. And then they watch the second video. And after they watch the second video, a little test again, 1-minute test, 5 little MCQ questions that gives them feedback they understood the second video, and then they go on to the third video. So maximum per topic, we won't have more than 5 videos. So some topics could have 3 videos, some could have 2, some could have 5. So that's what they used to do at home, right? So they watch the videos, that's a concept. They reflect about their understandings through a test. But we also ask them to revise using a little textbook. Most of the textbooks we have coined and sort of written ourselves. So they read 5 or 6 pages in the textbook. So C stands for concepts. The first R stands for revise in the textbook. The second R stands for reflect using the online test. And then they used to come to the lecture theatre where we had reinforcement. And that's the third R in CR3. Reinforcement with little workshops. We had lots of hands-on activities, case studies, etc. So when we went into the online mode, all we had to do was to take that reinforcement component of CR3 and put it online. And that is done via Blackboard. Some of us use Blackboard, some of us use Zoom to conduct those reinforced workshops online. So that is CR3. Happy to share with anyone the model.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So over to Dr. Jean. My question to you is the same thing. Kuwait didn't have regulations in place prior, and you had to stop classes. And I think there was a marathon task to move to online. So would you share with us how did you do it in short span of time, and what system did you use, or what method? Do you have something like CR3, which Dr. Marcus has there? So we'd like to have you answer this.
Yeah, of course, it's my pleasure to share our experience. Actually, our model is actually from IAM, as you know, first university to start when we faced this COVID pandemic to react to move fully to online mode of delivery. Okay, so starting March 1st, immediately after February, when we started the class resumption, we had a break in February, by the end of February. So immediately after the break, we started and moved online. So actually, we wanted our a model that focused on the simplicity and the minimum change to students. Actually, this is our main driver, is to make something very simple, very straightforward to student, something similar to what they used to have in class, and with minimum change. So we started thinking and we started exploring the opportunities. Actually, we initially, our faculty are using Moodle as a learning management system platform. You know, so our faculty are used to post regularly their teaching material, the slides, even before the pandemic. This is our mode of operation. So all the material are available to students during the week or before the classroom. Now, having said that, we have thought we have explored the solutions, and we decided to go for Big Blue Button, which is a streaming service, which is an interactive tool that's simple to use, that can be inserted as a simple link in each week for each session. So where student can go and click on a link defined for a lecture time, and there go with a live session between to attend this live session with their faculty. Now, the advantage of this, we have noted many advantages of this tool, mainly for the engagement of faculty students. So I'm going back to the point of engagement, which I shared with Dr. Marcos. It's a very, very interesting point and very important aspect to look at, is how to engage students, to keep them motivated and to keep them engaged during the lecture time. But before, let me say one thing. Before going to that, we have kept everything, as I told you, to student almost unchanged. So we kept their schedule the same, their lecture time the same, and then, but we moved them to online using this Big Blue Button BBB platform. So students just from their laptop, from a mobile, from their PC, they can go and attend the lecture at its time during the same amount of time that's allocated initially to their lecture. And then to engage them, faculty used to all the features offered by Big Blue Button. There are many, many amazing features there where you can give control to students, where you can they can use the microphone to intervene, to speak, and to answer the faculty questions. And also they can take control using the pen or using the mouse to take control over the screen. And our faculty are used to that, but we gave them a training. So it's also an important advice also I can give to all institutions, that to provide that training to their faculty whenever possible on the features on the platform, to be able to cope and to adapt and to use all this to benefit from that. So our student, this is how our student and faculty used to interact and used to engage during sessions. And we've seen a very, very nice feedback. Actually, we collected through a survey different feedback from students at the end of the semester. So really, it was a good feedback. Students were happy and they were engaged, and we noticed a high level of attendance. It was really surprising. We great attendance, great participation, and a good feedback from students. Also, I would say that our faculty also use this the online platform to share to introduce more multimedia and interactive content. Actually, they used to, for example, in some courses, we used to as Dr. Marcus said, we used to prepare some videos and put them online beforehand, where students can go and have a look at an experiment, for example, or at an explanation. And then when they come to classroom, they start discussing with their faculty. So this is just briefly how we faced this and how we started in it. And there are also other points we can talk about later.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Jean. So on that point, Dr. Marcus, we see that faculty generally have a passion. There's a question come which I see have a passion to teach. But how do you ignite and keep the attention span of students alive? And I know there's short videos there, but do you have any model you have tried and tested which you can keep students motivated and paying attention during the whole class time? Did you try anything different? We'd like to hear from you.
That's an excellent question, especially because of the fact that in Australia we just don't have domestic students. We also have international students sitting across the globe, and from most parts of the world, when we do an online class, it's very difficult to get them to turn their cameras on or even to turn their microphone on. All they like to do is put a little chat there. And sometimes you don't know who you're talking to. It may be just a ghost classroom. So you have to find ways to motivate them. And there are simple tricks I can give you. For example, don't have too long a session. So when they used to come to university, for example, in the course I teach, they used to come for 3 hours. Now I can't have that same 3 hours online. You know what will happen, right? I lose them. They'll be gone somewhere else. So every 1 hour or every 45 minutes, I have a little break. And during that break, I would ask them, is anyone in the class a good singer, or anyone in the class could play the guitar? And then they say, yeah, I can play the guitar. And then someone brings up a guitar and we all start singing. So there's different ways in which you can keep them motivated. And the second thing I want to say is have a little surprise. Every week for every session, have something to surprise them. Don't tell them what's going to happen. I can show you a little snippet of a video if you want to, where sometimes I put a little costume on. Like I teach them how to bake a banana cake, for example. And while teaching them how to bake a banana cake, actually I'm teaching them very difficult concepts in accounting. So to keep them motivated, we ourselves as academics, we need to have that fire in us, and that passion will automatically flow through to them. So every week, my strong advice from what we have been doing here, and I've been sharing with all my friends here, colleagues here, is plan your course, plan that week, maybe a couple of weeks ahead of time. What are you going to do in week 3 from today? In week 3, 2-hour session, how am I going to break it up? Have a little plan. And in that plan, have a little bit of surprise so the student is sort of motivated to come to the next session to see what next Marcus is going to do for them or what next Ashwin is going to do for them. So that's from the student perspective. From the academic colleagues perspective, to keep them motivated is to have a good, strong IT support, someone who could support them when they encounter obstacles or when they want to do something innovative, and there's someone to support them. And we do have that facility. That's part of my role, to see what we could do to support and assist each academic. They're not there on their own, or all alone because of what is happening in the world. We are there to support them. They don't have to come to the campus, for example. They can be doing a teaching course from home. But when they have some when they encounter a problem in certain parts of the world where, say, for example, students can't download a video or students can't download the PowerPoint slides, we find ways and means of circumventing those obstacles. So to keep the academics motivated, have a good support staff, and tell them they're not there all alone. There's someone to support them. And to keep the students motivated, have a little bit of surprise there and be innovative. Very interesting. I think that's something which also works in the corporate life. I think so. Where doing virtual meetings takes up a lot of time, so we can completely understand that. I'd like to go over to Dr. Jean. What is that you all are doing differently at AUM? Because you said the classes remain exactly as it is. So attention span, keeping the students motivated for that period of time, as it was in the classroom, might be difficult. So I'd like to hear from you. Did you have any challenges with that, or how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, of course, it's a common concern where it's not easy even in face-to-face to keep the motivation and to keep the connection between the faculty and his students. So it's even I would say same challenge here where with online. So as I told you, we used so firstly we used the different features. So we try to to use, for example, features like using the poll feature of integrated in BB. So the faculty were asking a question, giving the chance for students to participate, and then discussing the results after that, and discussing their different point of views. Also, to keep them engaged and motivated, we give some students the control over to write over slides and to go and write down using a text even into their on the slides of the faculty, and to go so faculty try to keep to keep this dynamic classroom running, and not just to keep on explaining and keeping the on and on the explanations. This is from one aspect. Another aspect is we have put in place a strong student support services which are already there, but they were fully operational during this period. Actually, for example, the support, the IT support from one side, students have access to us in using a direct chat, a direct hotlines. We have prepared for them a student guideline where they can find all the frequently asked questions, where they have asked questions and answers to the common issues that they may have every day. And we have put in place a hotline, a direct hotline with the university, so they can call us whenever they have any issue, any concern, or any question regarding the IT, regarding the classrooms, the platform, the use of tool, and so on. Also, to keep them, to help them and support them during this period, support our students. Actually, we have moved online with the tutoring center, where with the tutoring activities, so where students can book a direct one-to-one meeting with their faculty for additional and for extra support in the academic aspect, if they wish. Yeah, in addition to other student support services like the writing center, like the many services that were available on campus, we made them available, like also advising, we made them available online, so students feel supported all the time and stay engaged with.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Jean. So on that, we've always seen that when you're in a classroom, you can see the student, or the faculty and student can see each other. You can look at your face, you can understand expressions, you can understand stress levels. Now, this is a question perhaps not related to the report, but it's something which is very pertinent currently. And I'd like to ask Dr. Marcus this: how do you monitor student stress levels? It's over video. It's somewhat difficult to do that, and I think in the world today we've seen that the rate of depression is increasing with the current pandemic. So how do you handle that at the University of Newcastle, and not just for students but for faculty members as well? Maybe would you like to share that with us?
That's a very interesting question, because I can tell you it is happening. People are getting so depressed, not just depressed, losing their jobs. It's a different scenario in Australia compared to India, where students, once you reach 17, 18, they're all on their own. And during this situation, I get calls at 1 a.m. in the morning sometimes. But what we have at the University of Newcastle, we set up something called Campus Care. It's like a 24-hour hotline. If anyone has any issues or they contact us, we get support from them. There's psychologists, there's counselors. We also set up a fund to support the students who need some money, sort of a hardship fund. So stress levels are definitely at its height, even for academics. But for academics, the joy we get is when someone in our class, like I think Dr. Jane rightly said, the students themselves are getting more motivated in their online class rather than coming to the face-to-face class. It's a surprise, actually. There are almost 100% attendance in the online sessions, because in Australia, coming to class is not compulsory. There's no attendance taking. So you have to motivate them to come to class. But this move towards the online, even though students are stressing, we are doing everything we can to sort of reduce those stress levels, especially when it comes to assessments like online tests and exams. That's when the stress levels are at their height. What we've done for that is all the online tests, again, are done during a certain point in time, like say 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock till 12 in the afternoon. But if a student does have certain issues during that exam or in prior to the exam, we have something called an adverse circumstances or extenuating circumstances application form where the student puts it in and automatically it is given to them. We don't even ask a question. So students are happy with that. Last Monday, my course, 623 students sat an online exam. And out of the 623, only about 20 of them had this adverse circumstances. So I think they're beginning to cope in this situation. A couple of weeks ago, we thought the virus is, it's under control in Australia, but as you would have read in the news, it's coming back. The third wave is back with us in Melbourne. It's all started in Sydney. So I think students are slowly looking at the fact that this is going to be the usual norm in the near future.
All right, thank you. I have a follow-up question, but for those who would like to see the video, which Dr. Marcus has shared with us, we're sharing that on both our platforms. Save it, don't watch it right now because we're not going to pause it. You can look at it later. But a follow-up question on that very quickly, Dr. Marcus, is how do you manage the issue of excess of students? And you have students all over the world right now who are logging in online, different time zones. Issues with internet. Do you face that currently? And what do you do to overcome that?
Yeah. Again, another interesting question. What we have is, because I said, when I was reading your report and you said you have your sort of self-catered online LMS systems, I was a bit curious about that because what we use is Blackboard. And within Blackboard, you have systems in place where you can record everything. So if a student can't come in at that particular point in time because he's 13 hours away, maybe in the UK, for example, they could go back and watch the recordings. So that's how we overcome the time zone differences, even for the examinations.
All right, perfect. So over to Dr. Jean, I mean, how is it in Kuwait for you? Because most of your students are not international. I mean, they're mainly Kuwaiti students. How do you manage stress levels, or is there any issue you're facing currently? And also the question of access, where they have issues with connectivity. How does the university support that?
Yeah, actually, for the so I start by the second question first. So it's regarding the access, if you allow me. So actually, fortunately, our as you said, majority of our students are here residents. So the attendance was good. So the level of attendance was even excellent, I would say. So majority of our students, the big majority, are attending the classes on time and are participating. We didn't have any issue with that. So we made actually. Invite our faculty keep on engaging on encouraging students to attend. We made a decision not to post the records or to record, although they are our sessions are recorded, but we just not to give them in order to push our students to attend the classes and to participate during the lecture time. And it was a very good experience with very good feedback. Some students requested to have this, but finally they are all fine with this practice. So everybody's happy attending and participating with faculty. So no issue here on this point. Regarding the how to manage the levels of stress. So we have, I already mentioned that we have a strong student support service here from Student Affairs and all the supporting services here dedicated to students. So students have a hotline to call whenever they have any request related to their issues or they're related to their courses, they can ask, and then it's related to the right person to get the answer and to answer the students on a timely manner. Also, students, our faculty provided our students with feedback on their work and their assessments on a timely manner. So we keep on insisting and having this practice applied. So our students receive regular and on a timely manner feedback from their faculty about their work, about improvements, about how they are doing, and what other things that they should consider to have a successful course in the semester. In addition to other support, like as I told you, the tutoring services, the tutoring and the writing lab, also the academic advising, all are there to support the students. For the faculty, stress and management of stress for them. We keep so firstly we started by as to a training. We made our faculty comfortable and trained to these conditions, work conditions. Then we have prepared for them guideline documents, so faculty guidelines where they can go and see any if they have any questions or any concerns, they have the solution there. In addition to our support, the IT support is available to them. In addition, we have a strong quality assurance team for supporting the faculty whenever they have any questions or any queries on how to run or to execute some tasks they are not familiar with.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we have a lot of questions coming in on our YouTube channel from different academics, and I'm going to pick the first one because this is a great discussion, and we never expected to have the kind of attendance, but we're amazed with this. So there are questions on proctoring, and we have that been asked by a few people already, which they're asking is what kind of examinations did you practice, and can you share your experience with proctored examination? That's a question coming in from Dr. Neelakantan. We have another question coming in from Rekha Prasad, which says, please share your thoughts on proctoring methods during assessment. So I'll put that question to either, but maybe Dr. Marcus first, if you'd like to go ahead and share in Australia, how do you all do it, and especially with students from different time zones as well?
Right, that is a big challenge for any academic. The academic integrity of the course, the academic integrity of the assessment task. ProctorU and all the other software, we toyed with the idea, but it sometimes, if we don't do it properly, it encroaches on privacy. And if you're going to use sort of an invigilator from an external source, especially in Australia, we have to be very, very cautious. Because when you use ProctorU, for example, the camera takes over, right? You have to download the software, it takes over, so your privacy is encroached. So we still have not gone, we toyed with the idea, but we still put it in the cold storage for now. But what we do in the assessment tasks is to create assessments which are so creative in nature that a student can't readily find the answer either in the textbook or from any other source. So that takes a little bit of time to craft an exam. So if you put a little bit of thought into it, for even in accounting or finance or mathematics, you could put in scaffolding methods in place to ensure the integrity exam. So ProctorU and all the other invigilations are good to use. We may be using it in the near future, but as of now, our stand is create assessments that will mitigate any form of academic dishonesty.
All right, thank you. So Dr. Jean, what about your side? I mean, how did you all do it, or you're all doing it at the moment?
I definitely agree with Dr. Marcus. So definitely it's a big challenge, because whatever you think of a method, there is someone, instead of thinking of the solution, would think of finding a way to plagiarize or to cheat or so on. So definitely it's about the assessment itself and how you design your assessment So that's why this is what we invested in. So our faculty are spending their most of the time on thinking on an innovative way to ask their question, not the traditional way, something that works with an online platform, something where the student have to really think and write their own input. In addition to the traditional possible question that you may have, like in science courses or in math courses, it's obvious that you'll have some problems to solve, but we try to embed in our exams and in our assessments types of questions that allow to really assess what the student have learned during the session or during the class, or what they have learned, and something that's personal and something that's, subjective to the student, something that the student would write upon understanding and upon learning and achieving the learning objectives of the course. So this is our solution for or kind of the way how we dealt with it is to redesign the assessment methods. Yeah.
And if I may add to that, I'll just put it on the chat there, Ashwin. You also have software which can detect plagiarism, etc. Like if you're using Blackboard, there's Turnitin. So you can design an assessment task which the student has to put through Turnitin, and Turnitin picks it up for you, the similarity index. So there are different ways of doing it.
All right. Thank you so much for that. We have many questions coming in, so I'm going to go to the next one, and I think it's more on. It's asked by Sanjaya, and the question I think is more on for universities that have technical or medical backgrounds. How do you take those programs online at this time? And I know you all have a medical research institute, Dr. Marcus. Dr. Jean, you all have robotics labs and so on. So what kind of a method do you have to take that online, if you have something to share with us?
Sorry, Ashwin, beyond the scope of my work. I can check from the medical school what they do, but my general observation is they do follow all the requirements by the government in terms of social distancing. So I think that's what they must be doing, but I don't have much knowledge on what they do in nursing and medicine. Okay.
And Dr. Jean, do you know what for
actually,
your...
Yeah, I have something here to say here. So because here in engineering and in our university in engineering and in business also, we have a lot of, mainly in engineering college, we have a lot of courses that having labs, laboratories, where there are experiments, there are programming, computer laboratories, where are some simulation, where believe me, it's the times are difficult. It's not easy. However, we do our best to achieve the learning outcomes. So, for example, we have dealt with different type of courses that having experimental aspects or laboratories. We have explore different options. For example, courses where there are a lab experiment where students have to do something in their hands. So we have actually developed a center actually that equipped with tools to videotape these experiments with step-by-step explanation of the experiment. And where, as if the student is attending, as if it's exactly what's happening during the session. Then we have, in the eventuality where the student need some to collect some data and to analyze it, the lab instructors used to provide the raw data to them, and then the student used to use the traditional tools, the analysis tools, to analyze and do their experiment and their calculations to learn this experiment or to learn the objectives. In other types of laboratories where it's a simulation lab or it's a computer-based lab, now this is fully compatible with the online system. So we made whenever so the faculty used to share his screen using the BBB and to run the experiment, like the programming, and share it with the student. And as you know, there are a lot of softwares available in student versions or in free versions. So the student, whenever available, our faculty guided the student to, like, for example, programming editors where students can go and type their programs, run their codes, and verify their design, that it's working, and do their deliverables accordingly. So of course, we have lost the fact of student touching the equipment and running it. Of course, we have no other option, because as you know, students cannot, we are not attending, so all the attendance is done online. However, with what we have, our faculty did a great job. We did the maximum that we can to achieve the learning outcomes of the lab courses and the experimental courses.
Perfect. So we have a comment here from one of our attendees, Professor Manoj Arora, Vice Chancellor of BML Munjal University. He says that IITs in India have introduced virtual labs in association with many engineering institutes in the country, and the concept is evolving, and this is available for coding, software-related labs. Spoken tutorials are also available. I know the Ministry of Human Resources Development has got a platform as well, which is available. I think it's the same virtual labs which is provided to institutions. So we have started some of those initiatives on a governmental level here as well. Dr. Marcus, do you want to add anything there on this one?
Not that I'm aware of. No, Ashwin. Thank you.
So I have a question for Dr. Marcus, which comes from Vishnu, which says, how did you manage project work assigned to students during this pandemic?
Good. That's a good question. For most of the courses, we have project work, not in industry, but they do it in a group. And after they do that particular piece of work, they also have to do a group presentation. And that has been done even online. So it works really well. But I don't know whether I understood your question correctly. When you say project, do you mean internship in companies, which we don't have much here? We do have work integrated learning, which is now on a standstill. We put it on hold. But we do have projects that students do in groups, even in the online realm of teaching and learning.
Okay, I have another question coming for Dr. Marcus. It says writing is the most effective method of learning. How are you ensuring in online teaching to make notes, or for the matter, if students are taking notes, either on their computers or on the notepad?
They do. Yeah, they do. Sometimes when I'm sharing my screen, I use a whiteboard, so I can write on the whiteboard, and they will tell me, slow down, we're still writing. So they do. Again, as I said, you have to motivate them. Ask them a question, don't give them the answer, make them write it out, work out the solution, then you show them the answer. So in other words, you can get them to do things, but you have to be, think out of the box. How do you motivate them? If you want them to write, what do you do to make them to write? If you want them to listen, what do you do to make them to listen? If you want them to talk, what can you do to make them talk? Yeah.
Perfect. Dr. Jean, would you like to add anything to that, which Dr. Marcus said?
Of course, I agree, but of course, I agree with this analysis and this point of view. But we were talking, the point right before this one. It was about the
projects. Are you saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's it. I wanted to add that regarding the project and the group work. Actually, whenever possible, actually we as you know, since it was something new to students, and we have considered the fact that some students may not be available for a group work, or may have difficulty in communicating online because it's something new to them. So our faculty did think about it, and we have proposed to redesign the projects that require the group work to have some individual contributions of each. That can be at the end grouped as a whole project, but we focused on, and this is part of also the support that we gave to students and to comfort them to manage their stress. So if they had this point, how we're going to work together, why we used to work in a library or in a classroom or in a meeting room, and now we can't do it. So, and we're not still familiar with this online thing. So we gave them the opportunity to work individually, and so we redesigned the deliverables so to be as a individual work.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next question I have is from my side, though, and from the report, we've seen that majority of the institutions who we have evaluated have built their custom-built LMS system. Now there are systems available. There's Moodle available there for the LMS part, which does assessment, grading, perhaps delivery as well inside, and feedback mechanism. So what do you think, Dr. Marcus, for institutions? And we have Moodle, which is open source. What do you recommend as a system? What should institutions look for in a holistic LMS system?
I've worked on few different platforms for the past few years. At ANU, for example, we use something different. In Newcastle, we've been using Blackboard. And based on my experience with LMSs, I think Blackboard is a very robust, easy to use, user-friendly system. I don't know how much it will cost in India, but I do know from your report that there are, I think 4% of your audience are using Blackboard. So I think that will be a good platform to think about. There are so many parts of Blackboard that could go to be used, especially during this online environment. It's a very robust platform. Like, for example, I don't use Zoom because it's something outside, by an outside provider. So I use Collaborate within Blackboard, which is very similar to Zoom. But the benefit of that is when I do an online session using Collaborate, it gets recorded. So the student can go back and watch it any number of times. For example, next Monday, I'm going to do a group presentation, and I have students all over the world doing the group presentation using Collaborate. So Blackboard is one system that among the different systems that are available out there that I think from an academic perspective, also from a student perspective, is one of the best platforms. I'm not advertising for them. I'm not a salesman here, but it's one of the better ones, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. With Dr. Jean, and I think you're using the big blue button, which I've not heard before. But how does that compare with what's available, what people use right now with LMS? Or why did you all choose this platform?
Yeah, so actually we are using Moodle to start with. We are using Moodle as an LMS tool, so it's the most widely used one. It's simple, straightforward, available to students on different platforms, the mobile, the PC. Why we went for BBB is again for its simplicity. It's once for simplicity and security, and also for the fact that it's integrated to Moodle. So we didn't want to students to have a platform where they have to create an account or to have two different platforms, like for example to log into to Zoom, or to have their material in a place and their meeting or their class or their session in another place. So the advantage of the BBB, again, we are not advertising, we're just describing the decision that we made when we started this thing, that we found at a point of time that its advantages to it's a plug. When you install it, it becomes like a plugin into Moodle. So whenever faculty creates an activity, for example, or adding a presentation to a week, as you do in Blackboard or in Moodle, you simply add a link to a live session Okay, so whenever students go and whenever students they log into their Moodle, they just see a link for the session. Once they click on it, it's active during the session time, and then they it's activating their they enter to the live streaming, and then it's really straightforward, easy to use, and it's also has many interactive features between faculty and student, like as I told you, giving them the controls so they can write on the screen, or can use their digital pens to do some solving, or to do some notes, to put some notes, in addition to a feature like using the direct polling, so they immediate feedback. This is regarding the choice of BBB. So it's one platform, one user interface, and a single sign-on system. So you sign on to one system one time, and you're logged into all the features of this system. Yeah. Now, as for the yeah, so this is that's why we went for this choice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jean, for this answer. So we are almost the end of the panel discussion. There are still many questions, but I'll circulate them later, maybe to everybody find something interesting. But don't leave as yet, those joining us. We have an award ceremony for these 7 institutions today who will be receiving the E-Lead certification. So stay with me. I have one final question which has come in. I'd like to take it because I think it's important. It's on peer mentoring. And that question comes from Dilip Giri. It says, peer mentoring is an excellent method of innovative learning. During COVID-19 crisis, how can universities ensure the peer mentoring is practiced? Very generic as such. Yeah. All right. So Dr. Marcus, if you'd like to take that.
Thank you. That what we have at the University of Newcastle, for which I'm also the director, is called peer-assisted study sessions. We used to have them in the face-to-face class, where you have a senior student who's already done a course. He's the peer for a group of students. So they meet on a weekly basis. But when during COVID-19 we went online, we did the same thing. We have peer mentors online. And I can tell you it works really, really effective. Students sometimes they wouldn't like to come to the academic directly, but they'll go to the peer mentor. What we also did recently, just before the exams, we had a few extra sessions of peer mentoring classes. So the senior gentleman or the lady would go through like past exam questions, etc., with the students, and sort of answer all their questions, and also bring their stress levels down and their anxiety levels down by mentoring them. So that is a great suggestion. And if you haven't been doing it, happy to help you. We have been doing it for many, many years. Yeah, it's called PASS, PASS, or peer assisted study sessions.
Oh, interesting. Dr. Jean, do you like to add very quickly?
Yeah, of course. Very nice action. So we have indeed a similar service here. We offer what we call the tutoring center. So it's also a type of a peer mentoring service. So we have our student. It's an online page where they go and take an appointment with a faculty if they need any support in any of their courses registered in. They take an appointment based on the faculty office hours and availability, and this center's role is to arrange the meeting between the faculty and the student, and then they continue meeting online for a dedicated support and help for the given session or a given course. It's not necessarily the same faculty teaching the course. It can be any other faculty teaching the course, or with available to teach. Also, we have moved online for the writing center. So we have this offering the student this support if they need any, for example, any help in any review of their reports, or any review of their papers, of any project they are writing a report, or they need support in the improving their writing skills. We have a dedicated service support for that. In addition to a peer service also, which is the academic advising. So when students are by the end of the semester, usually this, or by mid and the end of the semester, we kept offering this service online to students. It's also a peer service offered to students where they can talk in person to their academic advisor to discuss about the courses to take in the coming semester and what they have achieved, the prerequisites and all these aspects. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I'm really glad that we had this session today. So much of knowledge which you have got from Dr. Marcus and Regine, and we can still go on and on, but we like to keep it short as well, so there's the high attention span. My request to those attending right now, before we go into the award ceremony, which will take a few more minutes, we have a national survey on faculty sentiments we are running at QS for our next report. So that link should be shared with you in your chat boxes. I would request you, please fill up the survey. This will help us fuel another great report, and we can share the report with the government, with other stakeholders. And also, it's a completely anonymous report. We are publishing without any identifiable information, but we are collecting institution names. So if we have at least 50 respondents from an institution, we'll prepare a special report for the institution to tell them how the faculty are feeling. Because while we're talking students, we might not look at faculty completely. So we like to find what's happening with the faculty there. So that link is in the chat boxes at the moment. So thank you so much, Dr. Marcus, for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Jean, for joining us today. Really great to have you all. And now the time has come to introduce my colleague, Shubhayu Naik, who's Director of Client Relations, who will run the award ceremony for you on screen. So thank you so much, everyone. And over to you, Shubhayu.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ashwin. A wonderful session by both our panelists, Dr. Marcus and Dr. Jean, and also Ashwin. Thank you to Chitra for the wonderful snippets which he gave about the report which we'll be giving out, the edit report for institutions to understand on what feedback we got from the eLead certification. We are shortly going to start the presentation for the institutions who are getting the eLead certification today. We're going to have about 7 institutes, and we're going to have some of their representatives speaking about it. I would also like to, congratulate institutions who have taken that aggressive step towards implementing online education in their institutions and using the eLead certification as a tool to showcase to all the stakeholders within the institution and outside on how they have used online education or have implemented online education within their institution. So without further ado, let's get started with the institutions. And I would like to congratulate all the institutions who are present over here today. So the first institution which we are going to be speaking about is BML Munjal University from Gurugram, Haryana. Congratulations to BML Munjal University. And we will have a short conversation from Dr. Manoj K. Arora, who is their Vice Chancellor. Congratulations, BML Munjal. I hope you do a fantastic job on imparting online education to your students.
I'm thrilled to note that we have entered into the League of eLead certificate by IGAUGE. We have been practicing blended learning since our inception in 2014, but COVID-19 has given a momentum to our approach of curricular delivery. As we were equipped with the necessary ICT infrastructure, both on hardware and software sides, and also the e-learning resources, we shifted to virtual learning in real time. We immediately trained our faculty on various methods of online learning, be it lecturing through WebEx, Zoom, Google Classrooms, or be it recorded lecturing, or be it flip learning, online quizzes, online assignments, online assessments and examinations. On every aspect the faculty were trained, and I'm happy to state that we have been able to complete all our academic activities for the current batch. In fact, we are geared up to start our next academic year online. Thank you, IGAUGE, for the e-lead certificate. I really appreciate that. Let us work together to enhance the quality of education in the country.
Thank you, Dr. Arora. He was the Vice Chancellor of BML Munjal University from Gurugram, Haryana. We'll now move to the next institute, and I was going through the YouTube channel, so we have a lot of attendance from BNM Institute of Technology from Bengaluru, Karnataka. Congratulations to BNM Institute of Technology for achieving the e-lead certification and imparting quality online educations to your students. The Secretary, Dr. Shri Narayana Rao Mane, will be speaking a few words on behalf of BNM Institute of Technology.
Vidyaya Amritam Ashnute. Knowledge is nectar is the motto that defines the thirst for knowledge at BNM Institute of Technology, one of the pioneer institutes in technology and management, established with a mission to provide engineering and management education that meets the needs of human resources with leadership qualities, team spirit, and concern for environment.
Very happy to know that the BNM Institute of Technology has a mission to act a liaison between the industry and student in order to fulfill the ambition of the student in getting the right job.
Namaskar. This is Narayan Mane, Trustee and Secretary of BNM Group of Educational Institutions, which is celebrating its Golden Jubilee next year. We are extremely delighted that our institution, BNMIT, has been recognized by the QS I-League e-lead certification. We are very fortunate that our college had adopted a professional learning management system much before the COVID crisis. Our students were familiar with online programs, as we had ensured that even our rural students were assisted for getting bandwidth, networking, and internet connectivity for our other programs. This helped us to adapt to the crisis very easily. Microsoft Teams was employed for course delivery, and our teachers had recorded more than 250 lectures in the college studio. It is available online, and contents for e-courses were developed, and assignments and tests were conducted online after course deliveries. Code Tantra, learning platforms for seamless content delivery, was carried out. Mental and physical health awareness and stress busting sessions by our in-house professional counselor were conducted also online. We tied up for free online courses by Coursera during lockdown for both students and faculties. These efforts paid rich dividends, with more than 98% students attending the online programs. The blended learning is expected to continue post-COVID crisis also. BNMIT is geared up for new situations and responsibilities, and thanks all its teaching and non-teaching staff, and most importantly its wonderful students, for facing this unprecedented situation head-on. We pray for Almighty's grace to successfully overcome this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, BNMIT, and thank you to Shri Manai. Congratulations once again. The next institute is IGFI University. IGFI University, Dehradun from Uttarakhand. And congratulations to IGFI on achieving the QS IGAUGE e-lead certification and promoting quality online education. Dr. M. Vinay, who is the Vice Chancellor of IGFI Dehradun, has a few words to say about how they are promoting online education in their institution.
IGFI Dehradun is a constituent of IGFI Group, having 11 universities and 9 business schools. IGFI University Dehradun started online classes from March 22nd onwards, and we have completed syllabuses of our 4 schools by the end of May 2020. To engage the students, we have developed a seed program, that is Students Employment Engagement Development, wherein more than 35 webinars were conducted with academic industry interaction. All the faculty members provide online equipment, and classrooms are provided with the online equipment. I'm happy to inform you, IGFI Dehradun has been ranked 44th top in industrial application.
Thank you, Dr. M. Vinay, and congratulations to IGFI University, Dehradun. Our next university is Jagran Lake City University from Madhya Pradesh, and we have Sri Harimohan Gupta, who is the Chancellor. Congratulations, Jagran Lake City University, for achieving the QS IGAUGE E-Lead certification and promoting quality online education in your institution. A few words from Sri Harimohan Gupta, Chancellor of Jagran Lake City University.
Thank you, QS, for recognizing Jagran Lake City University, Madhya Pradesh, India, as the first university in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh to be certified with QS E-Lead certification. Such global credentials testifies our efforts to be digitally ready during this pandemic situation by using our state-of-art learning platform, conducting online examinations, and by enabling our students to use studios right from their home. I humbly accept this honor on behalf of Jagran Lake City University. Thank you, QS, once again.
Thank you, Sri Harimohan Gupta, and congratulations once again to Jagran Lake City University from Madhya Pradesh. Our next university is Kalisa Lingam University, which is based out of Tamil Nadu. Congratulations to Kalisa Lingam Academy of Research and Education, and Dr. T.R. Neelakantan, who is the Director for Ranking and Accreditation, has a few words to speak about his institution and how they are doing things differently in their university.
400-acre green campus, international research center with innovation and entrepreneurship development cell, centralized e-library, 100% placement record, health and fitness, Kalisa Lingam deemed to be university, Madurai, Tamil Nadu.
Kalisa Lingam Academy of Research and Education, or Kalisa Lingam University, is located in the village of Krishnan Koil, near the city of Madurai in the state of Tamil Nadu, India. Even though the university is located in one of the most backward districts of the country, the institution prides in itself by being the forerunners in terms of technology and technology-assisted learning for students and the entire campus community. The learning management system is developed in-house and ensures that our students have access to all materials wherever the location might be. The lecture capture system installed in over 100 classrooms ensures students can have access to their classroom recordings at any point of time and learn at their own pace. With this background and with this strength of information technology and ICT to support the teaching learning processes, it was easy for the entire campus and for the entire institution to switch to an online mode of teaching since the lockdown was implemented in the country from the month of March. our entire teaching processes. Whatever was left of the even semester of 2019-20 was completed online. Our examinations, our project reviews, and even virtual labs were conducted online. And all our students, I'm very happy to say that all our students have completed their semesters, their previous academic year now, and are awaiting the start of the academic year. We are very happy that QS IGAUGE has decided to give us the ELEAD certification, which is a proof that an institution can function from a virtual manner and has its strength in technology as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Neelakantan. Always a pleasure to hear you, and congratulations to Kalisa Lingam. Our next institution, I would like to congratulate M. Kumaraswamy College of Engineering, based out of Tamil Nadu. Congratulations on achieving the QS IGAUGE ELEAD certification and for imparting quality education online. Dr. K. Ramakrishnan, the chairman of the institution, has a few words to say about how they're doing things differently.
Greetings from M. Kumaraswamy College of Engineering, situated in Karur rural belt in Tamil Nadu. I am Dr. K. Ramakrishnan, chairman of this higher technical institution. Today I am present with you digitally. This is a very special occasion when the QS IGAUGE is making announcements of newly certified ELEAD institutions. And we are more happy to know that we are certified. We really appreciate that the QS IGAUGE has taken this initiative to assess and identify potential institutions who have capabilities to undertake the much needed digital online education. Ours is a rural institution and is the only individual college in the state of Tamil Nadu to get ELEAD certification. M. Kumaraswamy College of Engineering, even though in a rural setting, has for the past 4 years consistently been making efforts to convert all its activities into the digital mode. This includes regular academic learning with digital content, which includes audio, video, and animations that are difficult to do manually otherwise. As our campus is digitally connected, moving into online teaching learning was a cakewalk for us during this pandemic time. Like all leading institutions across the globe, we also created our own online LMS, that is the Learning Management System, that includes teaching, learning, remote access, and virtual laboratories and other social media and conferencing systems. This was possible only because we have a teaching learning center with dedicated faculty members who have a strong backing in the field of higher technical education that includes educational psychology. Following the guidelines provided by MHRD, Skill India and National Mission on the education through ICT, incorporated technology-enabled learning platforms. We closely follow SWAYAM, NPTEL and other initiatives as guided by UGC and AICTE, including our affiliating Anna University, and we get updated duly. The e-learning systems and tools that we are currently use include our own ERP system, technology-enabled learning curricula software, ICT lab software, ICT circuit software, ICT skill software, etc. I am proud to say that all these softwares and tools were developed by our own faculty members. We wholeheartedly thank QS IGAUGE for making an objective, unbiased, rigorous and transparent assessment to identify the truly potential institutions who can handle online learning effectively. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Ramakrishnan, and congratulations once again to M. Kumaraswamy College of Engineering. Our final institution for today is SDMI MD, based out of Mysore, Congratulations to the whole team at SDMIMD in Mysore for achieving the QS IGAUGE E-Lead certification and for achieving quality through online education. Unfortunately, we couldn't get their video on time, so we are unable to play any video on behalf of SDMIMD. I would like to thank everybody who has taken the time and effort, especially during these trying times, to be a part of this process, to be a part of this online ceremony where we are celebrating institutions who have really showcased how strong they are in terms of imparting quality education online, and who have taken various steps in doing something differently from other institutions in their area, and have continued imparting education to students who are struggling at these times. So I hope that all the institutions and all the faculty members are safe, and also the students. And that's it from my side. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to send us an email on contact@igauge.in. That's contact@igauge.in, and we'll be happy to respond to any questions that you have. Back to Ashwin again for the thank you note. Thanks, Ashwin.
Thank you so much, Shubayu, for an excellent comparing there and announcing the 7 institutions. Congratulations to them. And if you're not E-Lead certified, then what are you certified with in this day and age? What kind of benchmarks are you using? What are you looking at as a reference point is important. And I think the certification is just a paper. It's not just a paper, but it showcases what the hard work which is put in by the institution, the faculty members, to get the institution e-learning ready. So thank you so much for everybody joining us. Again, my gratitude and thanks to our 2 panelists who have joined us today, Dr. Marcus and Dr. Jean. We will circulate their material, and we'll also have the recording available for you to share with your faculty members. We'll circulate all the questions which we have received to the panelists. So if they find any interesting questions in there and they would like to address that, we will post it on our website in the coming days. So with that, I would like to bid goodbye to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Marcus, again. It's very late in Australia there. And for Dr. Jean, who joined us, Kuwait, today is a weekend. We appreciate your support for India and Indian higher education. And we will look forward to connect with you on LinkedIn as well, so we can continue the association and your love for India particularly. Thank you, everybody. And if you're on YouTube, click on the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. We want you to continue to receive our updates. Good evening from India.
Bye-bye, everyone.